in general, the way this dude looks is creepy as hell, in my opinion. I think the way Bond looks right now is absolutely terrifying. And for me, when it comes to this image, it actually reveals a lot. I mean, first of all, it's really weird to see Bond in kind of a HD form anyway. But the fact that we have this kind of like scar across his eye, I'm pretty sure we could see that in like in the Wonderland scene. First of all, I'm pretty sure we could see that in the Wonderland scene. But if you're wondering where this is, Ava, who's the voice actor of Bond, revealed this. So it is official, apparently. From what I've been told, it's official. I got a screenshot of Ava sending this into the Walten Falls Discord. So it is pretty much, confirmed this is Bond that shows up in Lacrimosa. It is very, very cool. I mean, it's a really cool image. It's a really creepy image in consideration he has human teeth still. I think it's really interesting, though. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. Personally, I'd be really interested to see what like your theories are, because I mean, we do know that Bond does show up in the Susan scene. I mean, like, we all know that because of the fact that we see him behind the locker. So we know he's there. But the fact that it's like this is how he actually looks is crazy to me. I mean, he looks so creepy. Another thing I'd be really interested to see, if like, is this his like physical form? Like, can he actually physically do anything, if that makes any sense? Or is it just like a spirit kind of like floating around like he does in Wonderland, that sort of thing? I mean, for me, that would be a really interesting theory, is like, is he a physical being, or is he just like a spiritual being? That would be something I'd be really interested to see. I'm sure that will get answered. I mean, for me, I feel like it's more a spiritual being, but what makes this so interesting is that Bond the animatronic is moving while Bond spiritually is there, present. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, is that when this face pops up, Bond is putting Susan into Banny. As in, Bond the spirit is watching this. So, my question is there a dual spirit thing? Or can Bond, like, move the animatronic of Bond while not actually being inside the animatronic? If that makes any sense. Like, does he, like, can he just, like, kind of, like, do it like 11 in Stranger Things? Where he just, like, he has, like, telekinesis where he can just make stuff move? Is that what it is? Or is there kind of gonna be, like, a dual thing where it's, like, Bond is spiritually there, but someone's in the suit? Now, the weird thing is, this completely blows the door back open for Jack Walton being Bond. It completely blows the door right back open to that being a possibility. Because Jack Walton going missing is still the #1 theory of what's going on, right? So what if Jack's in Bond and Bond is controlling Jack? Now, that might be a wild theory, but that's a possibility now. I used to be so, like, convinced that Jack was not inside Bond. But what if he technically isn't, but his body is? And that's why he's missing, is because his body has been inside Bond the whole time. And to me, I don't know if I like that. But then again, it's a complete possibility now. I'm not saying that's what I think is going down, but it's actually now a possibility. And then, if we bring in the age-old theory that we have on the channel, if you're an OG of the channel, you will know my theory about Bond crying. We see so many instances of Bond crying black tears. And I've said this from the start, is that why does he cry? Because we have seen Bond cover his face while killing somebody, and also crying. So what if Jack Walton is still kind of like, sentient inside Bond, but has no control over what he's doing? Therefore, when he kills Rosemary or any of the workers, he's crying on the inside of the suit saying, I don't want to do this, that sort of thing. And also, when it comes to Rosemary's death, of like luring Rosemary in, when Bond says, "I know where he is, Rosie," that's not Bond lying. Bond is telling the truth and saying that, oh, he literally is here. You are looking right at your husband. You know what I mean? Like, what if that is what goes down in the Rosemary kill? Is that, oh, I know where your husband is, yes, because he's inside the blue bunny. You know what I mean? Because I know that's a very, very, very wild theory. But the fact that this is a thing blows open that possibility now. That is a possibility now. Is that if this is real, which it has to be since Ava has revealed it, you know what I mean? It now blows the door open for Jack being inside the Bond animatronic. This being real now. And Bond the animatronic is moving while Bond the spirit is watching on. Could that mean Jack Walton's in Bond? Could that mean Jack Walton is inside the Bond animatronic? And that's why he's been missing so long? Is that the fact he got killed and he's been in Bond the whole time? And the whole theory of Jack being Bond is technically right, but also technically wrong in the fact that Jack has no control? You know, that sort of way? To me, that, like, it's not necessarily, like, what I think, but it's a possibility. Do you know what I mean? It actually is a possibility now. There's a possibility right now that we have all just solved who's Bond, or who is inside Bond animatronic. I mean, it's a very, like, wild theory, I know. And I don't necessarily believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just theorizing off the top of my head of what's going through my mind right now. But yeah, that's what Floating Clown. What I mean by this is basically Bond is still controlling the Bond animatronic, right? But like the Jack Walton's body is inside the Bond suit, and that's what he's like still sentient, because we do know that when the body goes inside the suit, there is a soul attached now, like with the whole thing with Susan and Rosemary now. So basically, when Bond kills someone, he like cries black tears. So my theory is, what if that's Jack crying on the inside of the suit, going, "Why am I doing this?" when he has no control over it? If that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm like wilding out with this theory. I don't know. The weird thing is that the series led you to believe Jack was possessing Bond. The Waltons threw it out the window and basically causing whiplash. I mean, yeah, but see, the thing is, it was never confirmed that Jack couldn't be Bond. You know what I mean? I think Bond's just a possessed robot. He would still necessarily be a possessed robot, even if Jack was inside the suit. They're all possessed robots. I don't know if this is said by anyone, but in the first episode of Little Bond's Neighborhood on TV, it says, "Let me out of here." Yes, thank you. That's, oh my god, that is such a good added context. Let me out of here. He doesn't know where he is. Where is Jack? You know what I'm saying? Let me out of here. What if that out of there is that he's in the suit? Let me out of the suit. Jack's in the tapes. We know that from episode 2. He controls the tapes, basically. I mean, let me just add some context to this. If I go out of that image and go back to Lacrimosa, but Jack controls the tapes. Jack is in the suit, but has no control over it. Because let's be real here, right? Jack is dead. Jack is 100% dead, right? He's 100% dead. Because we know from Find Jack Walton that it goes all the way back to, like, it goes all the way forward to, like, the 90s, and Jack is still missing. So Jack is dead. Let's be real. Jack dies in this series, surely, right? Anyway, but I'll be real, right? If they never found him, the only animatronic we know that doesn't have a body in it, as far as we know, is Bond. You know what I mean? And who's controlling Bond is it's not a plastic suit, it's made of metal and stuff. It's Bond the spirit. Bond, because You do realize, right, when Bond reveals himself at the end of episode 4, he doesn't necessarily call him. He just goes, "My name is," and then pauses, and then goes, "Bond." He just calls himself Bond. That might not actually be his name. He just calls himself Bond. Okay, someone said the last frame or two. And who's controlling Jack? Bond. I'm assuming you're talking about when Bond pops up at the end of Lacrimosa, right? I'm assuming. In the last frame or two, someone said a face. Which I'm assuming you're talking about Bond showing up here. I need to move my face cam. Bond looks very different here, though, I've always thought. Yeah, Randmarks made a really good point there. In Find Jack Walton, there's like a thing of like objects being possessed. I've always thought this is how the creepiest Bond has looked. I think Bond looks so creepy here because I think he looks more humanoid. I think Bond looks extremely human here rather than a rabbit. I know you can kind of see his ears here. He looks extremely human here, I think. I feel like Jack has control of some deal he made with Bond. He's always smiling, meaning power and promotion. I mean, someone said that looks like Jack. I mean, it'd be very hard to find out that, you know. So if Jack is in Bond, then who is Mr. Snow? No one has any idea who Mr. Snow is. What if we brighten that? I don't know. I don't think you can brighten it. I remember I definitely brightened that before and nothing. It was kind of the same. That was the first death as well, so it makes sense. He stutters when it comes to his name, and Bond is kind of half baked on a yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Because he's just like, because let's say Bond the spirit is just a spirit being lost or whatever, and then just going like, oh, yeah, I'm Bond. I control Bond, so I'm Bond. You know what I mean? Because it is known, right, that in this series, people forget their names. I swear that was canon, right? Is like the spirits forget their names? Or something like... Don't quote me on this, but was that not a thing? Is that after a while, the spirit forgets who they are? Yeah, Ed and Molly. Yes, Ed and Molly, that's what it was. Ed and Molly lost their memory. We see it in episode 3. Okay, let's use some context to that. In episode 3 of the Walten Files in Bunny Farm, we go up to a memorial thing, and it's Ed and Molly talking to Sophie, and they specifically say, although we can't remember you well. Bear in mind, I'm pretty sure Ed and Molly are around 8 or 9 years old. I know Ed is probably 8 or 9, and I think Molly is probably like 6, 7, let's say. I would imagine. And also, I'm pretty sure, I think it was Charles also on Bunny Farm says, I don't remember my face. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure that canonizes them not knowing who they are. So, when Bond says, I'm Bond, is he just saying that because he just inhabits the animatronic, so he just calls himself the animatronic's name? Is that why he just calls himself Bond, and he actually in reality is somebody else? Possibly Jack. Is this like too wild to think of, or I don't know. But that's just my theory. I mean, could this open the door to Jack being Bond? I mean, this possibly could open the door again for Jack being Bond. Because, fun fact, with the Walten Files, if you watch episode 1, it is very heavily implied that at that moment in time, Jack was meant to be the villain. I'm pretty sure, right? Now, I'm pretty sure it was intended that Jack was meant to be Bond. However, to my knowledge, there was a switch of the script to make it more interesting. Now, would I be too crazy to say that since everyone had the idea that Jack was going to end up being Bond, the crew had to write a script that kind of gave away elements of kind of closing the door to everyone saying Jack is Bond. To basically show, oh no, Jack can't be Bond. He can't be. He can never be Bond. There's no way he can. But now, with this image, they needed a way to sculpt Jack being Bond in a way that wasn't a cliche. In a way that wasn't predictable. You know what I mean? They needed a way to bring Jack being Bond back without being a too much of a cliche of a theory or a prediction. Now, I don't know if that's wild to say, but it's just a theory, of course. Again, I don't want Jack to be Bond. I really don't. I'll be honest, I don't want Jack to be Bond. To be honest, it's a fact that every theory starts off stupid until elements are revealed leading towards that theory. I mean, look how Dream Theory was with FNAF. I mean,
first shot of this episode, Tammy picks this house.
Oh, what about that one?
Now, if you ask me, that is the, worst house you can pick. It has wallpaper on the outside.